And welcome to Daytona International Speedway here in the Racers Elite. This will be a full-length race, so 160 laps. I am joined here again by Brandon. What do you expect to see here tonight during this race?
Patience, patience, right? We talked about it on Friday night. We'll talk about it again tonight. It's 160 laps. It's one of the longest, if not the longest race I've ever called in my history of or career of broadcasting and commentary. So I think patience. I think we're going to see patience. And then when the pay windows open, we're going to see the aggression slowly start to build up with these drivers. Early, patience. Late, money on the line.
Yeah, I think early on, especially with it being as long as it is, this is not like one of the races that they normally run where it's short and you have to kind of turn up the intensity. I think these guys will take their time, and then towards the end, I think it will be ramped up. But qualified on the pole was Austin Norris, second Kinsley Smith, third Joshua Neal, fourth Barry Nelson, fifth Andrew Tuff, sixth Ira Kohlhaas, seventh Blake Davis, eighth Bradley Carter, ninth Steve Sizemore, 10th Michael Prince, 11th Terry Fennell, 12th Curtis Ecker, 13th Richard O, 14th Alan Carter, 15th Corey Crowell, 16th Dave Nall, 17th Aaron Roth, 18th Brandon McGraw, 19th will be Johnny Barker, 20th Kirby Wainscott, 21st Brian LaPratt, 22nd Brett Bray, 23rd Chris Stouffer, 24th was Brandon Honeycutt, 25th Christopher Pendle, and 26th Timothy Yesbrand. One of those will be moved up because that is evidently RC. And I need to load my trading paints because their paints are not showing at all. So when everybody gets on track, I will reload their paints. It looks like everybody is, yet they're all rolling and away now.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but no, it's not. It's a different name. I answered my own question, Bryce. That was my bad.
Yeah, that's a question I'll never know. That will be put in the pocket of your mind. But who are you gonna keep an eye on here tonight? Watching throughout the race to see how they do and what they do in particular.
So one driver I want to keep an eye on is going to be the 81 Ira Kohlhaas, and if we take a look at that car on the deck lid, we're going to see Leroy Lamb Motorsports. Leroy, I believe, just passed away sometime over the weekend. Was a longtime car owner of Randy Sellers with RJS Automotive on the hood in the dirt track world. And so I want to keep an eye on Ira to see how well he represents tonight. But I want to keep an eye on Kinsley Smith. We watched Kinsley in a Gen 6 car win. I believe it was at Daytona, a week ago, I think it was. And so that's another driver I know likes to run in the front, and he's starting up front on the outside pole. So I want to keep an eye on those two.
Yeah, I don't really have a driver in particular I'll be looking at. I think early on in this race, it's just going to kind of be most of them will just stay to their own, I think. As I say, I think, and they'll probably just throw that out the window and go at it. But there's not a particular driver that I'm keeping my eye on. Maybe Tuff. Tuff seems to work his way up front. I would have said Truth, but I don't think Truth is in this race. No, he's not. So I don't really have a certain driver that I'll keep my eye on. But pace car is getting ready to pull off here. 160 laps. Drivers can go about 55 to... Actually, 55 is being generous, but 55 is probably the end of their fuel zone. As the green flag is in the air, we are underway.
We are underway, and it's going to be a relatively pretty clean start. I mean, the outside line's got a little bit of pull with Smith and Nelson in the 196 there. But I suspect these lines are going to pull back even as they already have for the most part. We should have some really good racing throughout this event tonight.
Yeah, I don't think that's... Early on, we'll see a lot of bump drafting. I think most of them, Kinsley's going to duck out. Looks like he may be wanting to go to the back, form a third line. One of the two. He doesn't. Oh, he's got a black flag.
He does have a black flag. That tells me, Bryce, that he probably jumped the starter, went a little early, and race control seen it and brought it back. So 160 laps, he's going to have a lot of time to be able to recover from that. But the problem's going to be, right, is he's going to have to serve a green flag pit road penalty, is he not? He's going to have to make a drive-through or stop in the box?
I believe it may be a drive-through. I mean, but really what he needed to do, though, is not let these guys by. He needed to really force his way down there and stay on the bottom line as soon as he can and serve it as soon as possible so he just doesn't lose as much ground. But him going to the back, I mean, it's going to be easier for him to get down pit road, but he's going to be at that much more of a deficit already having to serve the penalty as dropping back like he did.
Yeah, he's going to be at a deficit, and you know the other problem with that is he's not going to have any drafting help once he does serve that penalty. So he's looking at, you know, at least a lap down potentially once these guys come back around. But right now, this inside line is dominant. I mean, Norris, Neal, Teff, Davis, 1, 2, 3, 4. The outside line just ain't generating anything right now.
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit later on they'll start to move up. You see these cars are still bottoming out. Sparks are flying from the cars because they're so low on air pressure right now. I believe light should probably come on Daytona soon because it's pretty dim around this track right now. But Austin Norris, he's just going to stick it to the bottom. He's just not going to move. The only thing drivers do have to worry about, I think we saw it not last night, the night before, somebody did blow up. So you cannot be pushing too hard or you will cause that engine to explode. You guys have to be careful about that, about pushing, which early on I don't think they'll be pushing too much, but you do have to keep an eye on your temperature.
Yeah, we did. We actually seen that at Talladega in the trucks. And in fact, we thought that was going to be the end of that second group actually gaining ground and have an opportunity to position themselves to win. And in fact, it didn't. The opposite just worked out, and Truth Hope was able to go on and win that race. But all in all, right now it's patience, right? We see a lot of cars single file on that inside line. This outside row has only got maybe 5, 6 cars at best. So it's just going to be a patience game.
Yeah, I think it will be patience tonight. I don't think that anybody will make a big move. I think they'll probably be riding around the bottom to maximize their fuel mileage as much as possible. As it looks like they're going to shuck Barry Nelson out here. They're trying to. It looks like they can't do it in time. That's surprising that he's able to hold his position there.
Yeah, that tells me if I know Ira the way that I know Ira driving that 81, he's not comfortable behind that 96. Now, I know the gentleman behind him in that 62 is going to be Bradley Carter, and I know that he is a regular that runs with Ira in a couple other leagues. And so, you know, with that Toyota pushing that Chevy, they may be able to link up, but right now they're going to stay in behind the 196 of Nelson.
Looks like they're going to finally try it. Hey, there it goes. I knew it was going to happen. There goes Nelson. There goes the 81 hard in the wall. This is the big one early on. 21 to 62's destroyed. The 24 looks like is able to drive away. That's heavy damage, though. I was waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, and there it was. And in fact, quick glance, it kind of looked like net code. I don't know. We'll take a look at it and see.
There's definitely space there, but that 81, I could see him kind of, he's bobbling around, just trying to get to the quarter panel and just gets too close for comfort. The 8 piles in, the 37 piles in. Wayne Scott looks like he almost got by. 13's not going to be able to scoot through. He's going to get crushed against the wall. That's a big one early on, though.
5, 6, 7 cars there's all going to, I believe they have a fast repair for tonight. Do they not? I think they do, right?
I'm not sure.
Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, they've got one fast repair for tonight, so.
Yeah, that's awful early to have to use that, but you know, they do have that, so I would expect a lot of those drivers to be real conservative from this point forward.
Nelson has no idea that's going to happen. Just turns right around.
That's how quick things can go sideways at Daytona. 100%. Especially on a left rear like that, right? You know, I mean, it looked like there was a little room. Again, it could have been a netcode thing. Me knowing Ira the way I know him, it definitely wasn't intentional. I know that for sure, but this is going to cost a lot of drivers a fast repair early, and in fact, we're only, what, Bryce, 7 laps in of 160, so.
Yeah, and a lot of guys, that's all 4 meatball flags, so that's 4 fast repairs that are going to have to be used. And I almost wonder, if you're these leaders, do you come down and top off? I mean, it couldn't be a bad idea. Just keep you the same with you know, everybody else on pit strategy at least.
I'm showing Teft and Carter come down pit road. There's two I seen.
No, Ira can't come down. Wayne Scott did. Ecker is going to be trying to fix all of his damage. Looks like he can fix most of it too, it seems. That back end is shortened up a lot. That looks like it's crumpled. So yeah, that's definitely just not a normal rear end. McGraw, I think he's going to try to save his fast repair. I think he may have had a broken toe. But you can get a lot of damage fixed as this race goes on. Caution laps are about 2 laps in total, so you can get a lot of damage fixed. You'll get all the required damage fixed, and you'll kind of come in every now and then throughout the race under caution to get most of it fixed.
So I tell you, who actually, this works out really well for Kinsley Smith, does it not? So I mean, yeah, with having that black flag, maybe it was just a drop to the rear. I currently show him to be in the 11th position. So this actually kind of works out for him. If he had to serve, you know, a pass through or something along those lines, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure to be scored at least in 11th position right now.
Yeah, he got lucky. It looks like he's able to keep his lead lap position and all that. So he did a good job. So you don't really have to. Hopefully he doesn't do that again. That's just probably a mistake, and I know he didn't mean to jump the start. That's just something it probably a slip of the mind every now and then. Everybody's done that at one point, most likely. So he should be good. Lights are off on the pace car. 8 laps of 160 down, so that will stretch their fuel to probably lap 6, probably around lap 60. I think that's what it will push it to. I don't think they'll go lap 55 anymore. And that's going off of what they did in the race.
Again, much like we talked about on Friday, we sit up here and we talk about it. It ain't never guaranteed with what information that we put out there, right? I mean, it really is a guess for us in the booth and just based off of experience we've had in the car and at the track. And so we try to do everything we can to make sure that we get it close. And in fact, Friday, man, we was pretty spot on.
Yeah, I'm not like, who was Gordon's old crew chief that works with NBC right now?
Evernham?
No, not Evernham. He was Junior's crew chief also.
Oh, yeah.
What was his name?
I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, I can't think of his name right now, but pace car pulls in. Norris will lead them back to green. Nil on his outside. Hold on. Somebody tried to time the start, and I don't know why you would try to time the start at a super speedway like that. But they get going after that. Steve Letarte, that was his name. Steve Letarte, he seems to try to guess the fuel mileage, and he is always way off, especially like at Iowa.
Steve Letarte. Yeah, you're right. It was Steve Letarte.
Oh, that's a gutsy move there. Whoever that is, a shot to the bottom. That was Terry. Terry shut the door on whoever that was behind him. He about got destroyed from behind. He about got ran over, my man.
Yeah, and we've seen that happen on Friday too, right? Some very quick, very sudden moves to the bottom to try to fill gaps, and we actually seen one driver get penalized for that, but that was actually a move made before the start-finish line. So
see Norris continue to lead. Pretty spaced out on the bottom right now, it appears. Yeah, spaced out overall. Top line has just got no momentum at all to
Yeah.
begin with.
No, it doesn't. And in fact, we actually seen that even in the first run that these drivers had, was just not able to get anything going. Typically, we can see that outside line at least run dead heat, but right now the outside line's struggling to gain any momentum, as it looks like Norris is headed to pit road for a black flag.
Yeah, I don't know
He does.
how he could have gotten a black. I mean, that's odd. I don't know. He was the leader too, so I don't know what he got flagged for.
Race control is keeping a close eye on these guys tonight, Bryce. They're not letting anything get by them, and now that's going to put Davis, Prince, Ode,
Yeah, that's
Snell, Ross, Sizemore, all up front, top 6.
That's just hard to, I don't know what he did wrong. I didn't see anything wrong that he did. So it had to have been something really small that RC saw maybe he wasn't maintaining going into, you know, the zone or something like that. That's the only thing I could think it could be.
Well, we did see that kind of someone trying to time the restart, right? Maybe he did something there that race control seen that checked that inside line up. Maybe not 100% sure. Could have been a result of it.
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing that I could think. But I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. It looked like a pretty normal start up front.
Now we're gonna get some. Now we got some takers for the outside, right? The outside's starting to make a little headway. Looks like the 78's moved out to the outside. We'll see if they're able to pull up even.
Yeah, 78, he's in a fight there. But he may be able to get up a little bit more. He's got the 08 pushing him. Sizemore. 82. These guys are just bottoming out still. Cars just scraping the bottom of the track. Tires are, they just don't have a lot of air in them right now at the moment.
Prince pushing hard on Davis right there down the back straightaway. I wonder, Bryce, if the car's bottoming out is really what's kind of hurting that outside line being able to make any momentum. And then also, too, they're not really side drafting real hard. So
let's see. Let's watch their steering. They go in the corner. See what that steering wheel does. Can't tell if he got hit right there, but it definitely looked like it jerked to the left. Let's see if he does it in 3 and 4. I didn't really notice much, though.
Right now, though, the outside line does have the run. And, in fact, the 78, 08, 82 is all going to be able to clear at least the inside row right now.
I can hear it hitting, but I don't see anything. So maybe that 08 was just really, really pushing because he is all over the 78, and he's actually got to the outside of him. Luckily, the 78 was able to fall back down in line there, maintain his position.
So that's actually the first time we've seen, you know, in the early parts of this race that the outside line was able to generate anything. And now since the 78 and 82, both Ode and Neal has been able to clear, you know, the 11 of Davis, the outside line has just fell apart. The Sizemore and that group just not able to do anything at all.
Yeah, that line is, they've got 3 tight and everybody else really, really loose. That bottom line is also not formed up very well either. They've got a lot of room between them. So it's going to be a interesting thing to look at here. Is like somebody's about hitting the apron trying to get up under someone. That's not a good idea.
Yeah, again, I just don't think, I mean, right now it's just not the time to be too aggressive, right? At least with the side draft and things like that. But the way this car generates runs, you can actually see the outside line gain actually a little bit momentum off the exit of turn 2 down the back straightaway. And in fact, they'll have the 82 of Neal move up to the outside line to lead that charge.
The 78 is going to do a pretty good job, and that 82 is gonna really fight though. That 08 though, if he was able to shove the 78 to the front, he is shoving Neil to the front. Really, I mean, he is all over him. He is not picked up, or he's not lifted his foot off the throttle. They're gonna run into Norris, run up on him though. They're gonna go down and away from him. Yes, he actually put himself in the wall in accident.
Yeah, I think right now, if I was one of these drivers, I'd want to pay attention to what the 08 of Steve Sizemore is actually able to do with the front bumper of that car, the way that he's able to push guys to the front, especially off that outside line. I'd want to make a mental note of that, right? That's something that could come into play later on in this race. Could be a huge factor or a deciding factor to the finish, potentially, depending upon how the race plays out. So I'd make a mental note of that, because right now Sizemore seems to have probably one of the better pushing.
He does. I don't see anybody else getting up on the bumper of someone, but you see Kinsley back there in that bright blue Napa Chevy. Like he's coming up through the pack. He's gotten around Wayne Scott. He's got, who is that behind him? Someone in a Pal's car. No, Brandon, here's a weird question. Do you live in a state that has Pals?
I don't.
Man, you're missing out. You are missing out. It's great food. I'm surprised they haven't sponsored a NASCAR race, but it's probably because it's only a state thing. It's amazing food. Luckily, in my area, we've got it. So, kind of, it's kind of weird seeing people run that paint scheme because it's so local, but I guess it's just...
Shoot me the details on where that's located, because I'll be in Daytona Beach here in about 2 weeks. So
oh,
if it's
heck,
in around that
you
area,
will be nowhere near that. It is a... Where is it based
fair enough.
Yeah, it's Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia based.
Gotcha.
Only in that area where it is. And it's good, but enough of that. Looks like these guys have gotten really spaced out on the bottom. Who is that? That's Aaron Roth. That is... No, that's not Aaron. Who is that? No, that might be Aaron. You can see... Nope. Who is this in front of him? It's the 50. That's who I'm looking at. Terry Fennell.
Fennell, yep.
It looks like he's got a lot of space behind him. That top lane, though, is just not formed at all. They're so spaced out.
They're not. And you know, looking at it, Kinsley, Davis, who's in the 31 Honeycutt, they're doing what they can, you know, to try to help Johnny Barker move that outside line, but right now they're just not able to generate anything.
Yeah, they're trying to get something going, but I just do not think that it is going to work at all for them. These guys are running 4/10 off their fastest laps. But I don't think that's fuel saving. I think that's them just getting right to the bumper and having to lift and not plow into somebody in front of them. I wonder when we're probably, we're still way away from pitting here.
Yeah, I'm just looking through, just seeing how spread out these cars really are right now. You've got about the first, say, 3, 4 cars, 5 cars kind of linked, but then everybody from that point's pretty spaced out, giving each other enough room. Again, it's patience, right? We've talked about it. Now you're going to see Kinsley Smith push out Johnny Barker.
The thing I'm worried about is Kinsley gains a spot, but that 31's got no one behind him at all. He is completely alone. He's just going to start dropping so fast, no matter how far up he is on Kinsley. That top line just has zero formation. Tell you what, this 08 of Sizemore, he's been really aggressive. I mean, you saw him shoving hard. He's guarding the bottom. He doesn't want anybody to get around him. The 11 of Blake Davis behind him. That top line's now starting to stack up again. But Kinsley's going to shoot it 3 wide up under Barry. I think he'll finally get that position done.
see a couple more takers. Now, right now, I'm watching that outside line, and you got the 196 in there, and the 196 was, in fact, involved in that first caution, much like the 81 of Cole Haas, and they're all lined up in the outside line as Cole Haas will actually come to the bottom there. But I'm see a couple takers, Bryce. Look, you got the 98. I believe that's Teft, right? And then the 11. Davis, they've moved up to the outside to try to generate some movement.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see Teth go up there. A little bit surprised with Davis, seeing him hop up to that high line, but he's going to try to get something going here. Don't think he's going to really be able to get a lot of movement. That 10 is not close enough on Teth's bumper. I think he will get a little bit of a run, though. Just a tad, but not a lot. Have to see if he can hold it there. I think he should be fine. Should be fine.
Yeah, Taft and the 11 is moving. They've actually gained about 2 or 3 cars there on that back straightaway. You know, with the amount of cars they have in that outside line now, 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like to be about 7. If they stay somewhat formed up, they should be able to make some ground towards the front part of the pack.
Yeah, the only thing I'd be worried about with them is that, like, it's how far can they go with being spaced out, and then they're gonna have to shove here, I think, to to gain all the time that they need. I just don't think they're gonna have the just the raw speed up there up front without shoving. But Tefsy, he's only shoving on the straights, which is what you're supposed to do. Now you can shove in the corners. I've done it. It depends on if they can take it in the corners. But a lot of guys, they will go so hard in the corners and spin each other out. But I think they should be fine right now at the moment.
Yeah, I think as this race goes on, we're going to see more runs start to generate. I think, too, tire wear is going to help a little bit with that. Once the tires get up to 10, right, they start to wear just a little bit, we'll be able to see some runs generate. I think that outside line we'll be able to form, and the fact that they've got some help with the
oh my gosh,
Sizemore
from top to bottom below the yellow line came back up. Luckily they let him back in line, because that could have gotten somebody turned very, very easily. So that was gutsy. That was very, very gutsy there by him.
Yeah, we've seen that on Friday not work out. So I'm still amazed at that. I don't know how they didn't wreck a bunch of cars right there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that was gonna be big. I don't know how in the world that did not end up just absolutely destroying everybody behind him, but that was headed for disaster. As Davis will take the lead as he goes to the bottom off a chest bumper. Decides to fade on down that way.
Now we can see we're pretty dead even in cars, right? We had, I think, 24, 25 make the start. And so right now we have as many cars on the outside line as we do on the inside line. So we're seeing the outside line be able to kind of maintain Teff, Wayne Scott right there together. So
yeah, I think that top line has finally got something going. I don't know how long they can keep it up, though, is a question. But that bottom line has a lot of people down there. But that 08, he's going to start shoving really hard here to get Davis up front, I think. He just has to be careful with shoving as hard as he likes to, because he likes to get up on him and use all that he has. And I'd be worried if that's going to send him around on accident.
There's a car running right there in that group, though, that was sitting on pit road getting his car repaired, I believe it was, during that first caution. That's going to be Curtis Ecker, and he's actually the third car in line on the outside row there, and has actually been able to make a really good recovery.
Yeah, he got 1 minute and 44 seconds of damage fixed. He saved his fast repair. I mean, they pulled the rear end out. They pulled some fenders out, because that car was really beat in. But I mean, it looks fine now. But and my question is there's going to be damage that we can't see, and I'm wondering what it'll do if he has to pull out and try to lead a line, because I think it may show the damage that we can't see that's under the body of the car.
Right now, it doesn't seem to be hurting, but you're absolutely correct, right? If he ever gets into a position where he has to lead a line or wants to lead a line, you know, how's that going to look and what damage is not visible to our eye, at least in the race car. So for now, though, he's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, that top line is now broken apart. I wouldn't mind to be I would not want to be Christopher. I would not mind to be Timothy here. I think Timothy, he's in a good spot. He can just kind of ride around, doesn't have to worry about everything. Like he's not in the middle of it, so if they all start wrecking, he just kind of just watches it happen in front of him, slows down, gets around it. Early on, I think that this is a smart idea for them to do that. We'll go on board here, though. We'll do 2 drivers here for 1 lap. We'll kind of vary it out for the whole pack, so you can kind of hear what their throttle looks like. And of course, the leader is going to be basically foot to the floor. But everybody else, they'll be playing with the throttle, kind of trying to lift, not run in the back of somebody. On board there, you can kind of hear the throttle play just a little bit. 34 laps of 160 down for these guys. Everybody's moved to the bottom and kind of been very quiet after that. I think they decided to just settle down and try to run as many laps as possible.
I was keeping an eye on something that happened back here towards the back end part of the pack right now. It looked like one of these guys got really hard in the wall in the back stretch. I'm not 100% sure who it was. Thinking maybe it was the 94, Christopher Pendle. I'm not 100% sure, but it looked like that there was a big checkup on towards the back part of the pack. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I don't think it would be Pendle. I don't see any damage on him. Maybe Barry, maybe? Barry's, I can't tell if that's from early on. He's got some right side damage, but again, he did kind of pancake a lot of cars with him. But it's just hard to tell if you're him.
I was just trying to figure out what the big checkup was. But We got Kinsley Smith leading that outside line. We've got Honeycutt right behind him, Bradley Carter behind him, Ira Kohlhaas. So we got about 6 cars in that outside line. They're going to see if they can generate something, work their way towards the front.
At 31, he's getting stacked up hard. I don't know if Kinsley's holding him back or if he's dragging the brake or what, but it looks like he's struggling to just kind of get a run. I mean, that 31 is all over him, but he's just not going anywhere at all.
Yeah, we seem to, for the outside line to generate any type of runs at all, they had to have 10, 12 cars at least, in that run. So right now, Kinsley Smith and that group, they're making a little bit of headway. I mean, they're not far off of Teff, Wayne Scott, Ecker right there.
Looks like they're getting pretty decent runs down the back stretch when that 31 gets up to Kinsley's bumper. I don't think he's going to be able to get one here, though, because that 31 has gotten sucked back to the car next to him. A little bit of a side draft there, even though he's not really close to him. It did pull him back just a tad.
And Honeycutt decides not to push through the corner and kind of lays off. In fact, I say that, and he goes to pushing. So at least on corner entry, he wasn't doing too much pushing. But in fact, they've actually lost about a car and a half or so from where they was, just because they had that side draft down the back straightaway that you spoke about. So I think a lot of it, Bryce, is really trying to figure out how to generate the momentum, right? You want to try to time these runs to where you can push down the back straightaway, around the front tri-oval. The tri-oval's kind of a dangerous place to push even. But timing those runs to set them up to push, in those right moments to generate some momentum. I think some of these guys are still trying to figure that out.
Kinsley's getting it done, though, going up there. I don't know. I think that the bottom line can get away with not pushing. The higher line, that they have to push to do anything. It looks like they're just not able to get away with just kind of riding and arrow shoving.
Well, you're absolutely correct, right? The third, fourth car in line is really where a lot of these runs can generate from, and so you can see Bradley Carter help Honeycutt and Smith stay out there. Now, does Smith clear to the bottom in front of Teff here, or does he want to stay out on that outer line? And I think Honeycutt's potentially a teammate. I think Ira's a part of that group. So, in fact, those 2 cars are going to clear to the bottom. Now, it's only going to leave 5 cars on the outside, so I suspect that outside line is going to drop, and probably pretty quickly, now that Kinsley Smith and Brandon Honeycutt's cleared Teff out front.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they do. I mean, I think they're trying it, because they're definitely getting up on each other's bumper and shoving pretty hard. I don't know. It's definitely a work in progress. You really have to work for a long, long time to get back up there. We'll have to see if they bail on that, or if they actually decide to push. Because right now it's not working too well for them. They're losing a lot of spots here and bleeding them pretty quickly. Yeah,
and you're absolutely correct, right? I mean, it takes several laps just to generate some momentum, and after Kinsley Smith and Brandon Honeycutt was actually able to clear there, it just takes so much time and so many laps to actually be able to start to generate a halfway decent run put together. And you can see Bradley Carter is actually able, he cleared to the inside, so there's only going to be, I think, 3 on that outside line now. So all the work that they had done only paid dividends to 2 drivers, and that's going to be Kinsley Smith and Brandon Honeycutt.
I think within the next kind of 18 laps is when we'll see some pit stops here, most likely for them. I don't know if they'll take tires. I think it may be fuel only. They have picked back up the pace. They're not as slow as they as they were. They were running 47 twos. Now they're running 46 sixes, about 46 mids. So that they've definitely picked up pace on that.
I'm just looking at the top 10 here, and it looks like within the top 10, 3 of those drivers have been on pit road. 2 of them on pit road around lap 6, the other one around lap 7. And I know one of those for sure was due to the accident. The other 2, I think, was a fuel call. So not sure how that's going to play a factor, or even if it will. Especially if you don't have drivers to go to, to stay out there and help you. So we'll keep an eye on, see how that plays out.
Yeah, everybody's down at the bottom, so I think they've thrown that away of, hey, let's go up there and race. They just want to go up there and be pretty calm with each other now.
Yeah, so now it looks like the entire pack has since decided to go single file here.
I wonder if they're going to pick up the pace again. They're 46.8, so they've slowed down a little bit. I don't know. Let's see what they run this lap. Let's see if they pick it up or if they lay off again on their overall pace.
Well, I can tell you just from the looks of it, Honeycutt is pushing pretty good on Kinsley Smith. So
oh, so this is early. I was way off on the pit cycle. 82, the 20, the 52, the 11's not going to make it. I knew that was not going to work for him. Davis will loop it, and that will hurt him overall. I'll have to see when this next group comes.
A lot earlier than we thought, right? Lap 44, so we were about 11 laps off. So we'll make a mental note of that for the race fans at home, and see how this plays out. So that tells me, Bryce, that about 44 laps. If you haven't saved any, you went out front.
So see, yep, everybody else will come down pit road. Looks like we've only got 6 that stay out. The 31 may have gotten a speeding penalty, and he did. Yep. I was going to say that 45, I think he sent him a little bit too long in his box, and he got a speeding penalty from that. He'll have to start. What in the world? It was LaPratt. This got pit maneuvered. I don't know what that was about.
I tell you, that's one of the things about this pit road, right, Bryce? Is I mean, we see it at Daytona, we see it at Talladega. That's the one thing about getting on and off pit road here. When you come in with groups like that, is we've seen it happen with the 11 of Davis. Gaining everything that they can gain to get everything that they can get, and it just doesn't work out. And so we've seen a black flag through that portion. Seen the pit maneuver on the one driver there. So
Teft, Wayne Scott, and Eckert will throw Nelson in that. They have a little bit longer they can run, so they'll probably run to lap 50 and then come down pit road because they pit on lap 6. See what they do now. I don't think they're going to come this lap. I think they got a little bit longer to go. Roth will come down. .78, he's gonna roll off pit road now.
Yeah, and right now that's I believe gonna put Kohlhaas on the 81, the first car a lap down. As you can see, those leaders with just the 3 of them made up some really good really good time on the racetrack during that green flag stop. So, but like you said, these three drivers here, Teff, Wayne Scott, Ecker, is all going to have to make a stop at some point here. And we suspect that that's going to be sometime between the next, say, 5 to 10 laps.
I think they're going to run it as long as they can, which is not a bad idea. They can probably... I think we'll have to have two... Yeah, we'll have to have... Actually, 4, 8, 12, 7. They'll have to 4-stop it here. I think. Yes. No? I'm wrong on that. They'll 3-stop it. And I think that they'll try to shorten it as much as they can on that last one, possibly. Not completely sure, though. Nalls down pit road. That group, though, that came out is not running faster. No, they're barely running fast. They actually may get lapped here soon. The time that they're running, because this group up here is catching them. Very, very slowly, but they are catching them.
Yeah, and right now, if Teff can, if he by chance could maybe catch the draft off the pack in front of him, any at all, it's going to help him actually save a little bit of fuel. Again, though, they're still going to have to stop, right? I mean, they're not going to be able to save a bunch, but I mean, you can see right there, and in fact, they're coming this time.
Kinsley's in. Wayne Scott's going to try to get in deeper than Kinsley, and I think he did, and he actually got down to pit road speed, too. That's surprising. He got in really, really deep. Nelson, he will be pitting with them also. Now we need to see where Wayne Scott merges. That'll be the question.
Yeah, I mean, so during that green flag cycle, Teff, Wayne Scott, Ecker, they was able to put some of those guys a lap down. So now we need to keep an eye on how they merge, where they merge.
I think Wayne Scott, he'll merge in front. Teff and the other guys, I'm not completely sure if they will.
Oh, there's a big pack coming.
That looks like he's going to be able to somewhat... He'll have to get lucky and tuck in here somewhere. He's up to pace pretty well, though. I mean, he's still 23 miles off, but he's going to be able to probably move in here behind the 7-8. He's got to force his way down. Will go by Wayne Scott. Wayne Scott looks like he's going to be able to merge pretty evenly with him, though, so did a good job of keeping his spot. So if they went 50 laps, they'll put on lap 100 again, and then they'll probably short pit it after that point.
So all in all, not too bad for Wayne Scott. He was actually able to clear into, I think, the 5th position, it looks like there. In fact, he was. So not too bad. Is one of these cars running with the top, with the lead pack? Is one of these cars a lap down? In fact, it is. It's going to be Norris in the 7. He's going to be a lap down. So he'll actually merge at the 4th position, fifth in line. But all in all, not too bad. Now, it looks like Teff and Ecker has since lost a little bit of the draft. Now, one thing that can happen here is if these 3 cars can back up to Kohlhaas and that pack that's just directly behind them and get them 6 cars, they could probably get, make up some track position. But they're going to have to stay single file. Right now, this lead pack single file, and there's no moves being made. So
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for him. That 17 is not helping either. They are going to have to hope that 81 and 6 can get it going up there. And I just don't know if they will be able to or not.
So multiple different things going on right now after the green flag cycle, right? Teft and Ecker, I'm not sure who's with them. But Kohlhaas and company, they've lost the draft. Teft and them's lost the draft, right? And so, and this front pack is just single file.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the worst things for those guys back here. When they're single file like this, they're not going to catch them unless they start racing side by side. They were 2 seconds off last lap, running a 48.26 compared to a 46.91. What they're doing right now is just not going to cut it for them. They're going to have to hope that they start racing pretty hard with each other.
Yeah, that's going to be the only way, right? This front pack's going to have to they're going to have to start racing in it. And at this point of the race right now, everybody's just comfortable riding, and so saving fuel. If you're the 4th, 5th place car in line right now with this lead pack, you're going to be able to save some fuel. You're going to be able to get to about that lap 100 mark that you spoke of. And so that being the case, where's he going? Steve Sizemore, I just show.
Yeah, he has destroyed that inside wall. That is a wheel disconnect, 100%. That has to be a wheel that disconnected. Yeah, I think his wheel came disconnected. That is not a normal thing to see there at all.
That's going to be a heartbreaker for him. He was actually one of the better pushers we had. That we was actually able to kick. Big wreck right there, right?
I'm going to find it here.
62.
Where's it at? Yeah, it's Davis 62. And 94 Pendle go around. It took me forever. It didn't give me notification until now to find a wreck, but caution does come out 57 laps in. We'll rewind it here. I have to go back forever. I was trying to click through the field, but it just wasn't giving me a notification for it.
It never did me either.
It looks like
I just happened to see it on the screen.
Like the 62 comes up into the 11. 11 overcorrects hard into the wall, and then Pendle ends up spinning around on his own. That 11's steering's destroyed. Killed the toe in the car. Meatball for Davis and a meatball for Sizemore, so they're going to have to come down pit road and get that fixed. There's no other option for them.
So now what's this do for strategy, right? Because, I mean, we last seen these guys on pit road at like 44, 45 area. We're working 57, about to complete 57, headed to 58. So, obviously, we're going to see cars on pit road. They're going to want to take fuel. That was about 13 or so laps of that run. So now, Bryce, can they make it on one more stop, you think? Because Wiz talking about maybe having a short pit there at the end. So maybe they can make it on one more?
I don't think so. I think they'll have to pit one more time. Well, they go to... It'll be close. If you come in and top off for the green flag, you may be able to do it. And that's being pretty generous on that also.
We'll just keep an eye on that, see how that works out, as it looks like several of these guys is going to make the jot down pit road. Kinsley Smith will drive through his box.
This will be most likely... It looks like everybody took fuel on this. probably get some damage fixed if they have any. It'll be Neil who comes away with the lead on pit road.
Yeah, and that might just be product of the 15 of Kinsley Smith just kind of missing that pit box, so, or driving through the pit box. But in fact, he only lost the one position, so no harm, no foul. He's going to be able to restart on the front row. Wayne Scott's actually going to move up to the 3rd position. Right now, a lot of comers and goers in this race. I tell you who that caution helps, though. That caution's going to help. Teft, Ecker, Cole Haas, those cars that had lost the draft back there in their 3-car packs.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see if anybody tops off. That's what I'm interested to see. I think if they do it, it'll be this lap, I believe. Question is, how long do you sit on pit road too? 'Cause you can. I don't know. Let's see who comes and tops off here.
So far, it doesn't look like we're going to have any takers. I would think right now the call would be to come and go ahead and just get an extra lap of fuel or two.
Nobody came down pit road. That's interesting call there.
All right. So we're going to stack them, rack them. We're going to do it all again. That's going to be our 2nd caution of the day. We're going to restart on lap 60. So once we take that restart and we complete lap 60, we'll be down to about 100 to go. That's still quite that's still a lot of racing. There's still a lot of things that can happen and things that can go wrong here at the virtual Daytona International Speedway.
So, being generous with their fuel mileage, they will be around 110. That's being generous. They can probably go mainly about 40. I don't know. I think they're going to have to short pit one more time. I don't think they're going to be able to come down pit road for just one more time. I think they'll have to short pit. And it'll be a really quick pit stop, too.
Yeah, it's probably going to be just enough that's going to cover probably a couple, 2, 3, 4 laps at most, probably. Again, with 100 laps or so still left in this race, they very well could, we could get another caution. We could get another 2. We've had kind of the big one, 7 laps into this race, but I don't think we've had the, quote, big one.
Yeah, that'll be about 10, 15 cars involved here. We'll just have to see if that happens. As pace car does pull in here, getting ready to take the green flag again, as the green flag is in the air. We are back underway here now.
These cautions are a little bit lengthy here at Daytona, but right now the outside line's a little bit more formed than, in fact, Honeycutt and Smith is going to lose their help with the 20 car there in Corral. So those guys are going to be out there by themselves.
Yeah, but here comes the rest.
Coming, but
yeah, they're going to bail on them too. Looks like Teff, see if he bails. Yep. I don't think Teff has an option to bail. 78 looking to the outside of Wayne Scott, trying to get a position. Yeah, he does.
In fact, they're going to be able to come to the front. Is the 78, Smith, Honeycutt, Teff, Ecker.
So they go right down to the bottom. The 78, I think he'll just kind of keep it there too. I don't think he'll move up off that now that he's there.
Well, he's going to come up and try to, shut down that outside line. But maybe this is where he's going to try to, work both sides of the line, right? Well, he's not going to have that option now.
Kinsley's going to fight hard on the outside here, and I wonder if you ride in the back here, if you can stretch your field to where you can make it on a one stop, because I think there may be a chance that that does happen. Just a little bit of a chance.
Yeah, there's no way that for 2 races in a row that mean you've called that we're going to end up in another fuel strategy deal, is there?
Oh no, it's shaping out to be like that now. Caution, and of course that'll change everything. And then I think they'll be able to one stop it from there. But they need to run probably about 10 more laps before we can even really think about that. As soon as I say that, 11 of Davis hard in the wall. I just destroyed that right front of the car again. That's not the right one.
Yeah, in fact, that's going to be another meatball.
This is way back here. So Nelson just goes down right in front of the 20. And I think
not clear, driver.
Trying to save it. I don't know what happened to 11 here, though. Oh, he just gets pounded in the right rear. 37, he's going to try to save it. I think the 11, he's going to overcorrect. Yet. Oh, gosh, overcorrects hard. Back into the outside wall. Yeah, that has destroyed that car. Destroyed it. That left front.
We kind of seen that. Yeah, we kind of seen that same thing happen on Friday night, right? When driver not clear, just maybe didn't realize that there was a car down there, and then calamity breaks out. Another what shows to be 5, 6, 7 car wreck in the mix there. So.
So, fake out there. I'd be pitting here and riding in the back, and then you could one stop it. These guys back here that are pitting now, I think they can one stop it. I come down and top off, and then you'd be right on the edge of it.
I'm trying to think about how much fuel these guys could save under caution, right? If they're shutting the car off, if they're clutching. And I'm one of those guys that does that, but really how much fuel can you save instead of just idling around, right? So I'm with you. I would have pit. I would have put fuel in the car.
I want to see him come back down here. If they do that, that'll be a smart move. That's just me, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I get so confused by these pit, these fuel strategy races. I get my mind going 100 different places, and I'm like, well, what's the right call? What's not? How long can we go? How long can we not?
Yeah, it seems like no one really knows, but this will tell me a lot here. This front group, especially if they maybe come back down. I don't know. See what they do.
Keep an eye on the 78 right there. See if he comes back down. In fact, he's going to. So 78, 94 right there behind him. I believe 92 behind him. I think this is the right call.
Yeah, this is what I would have been doing also. I think that's the smart thing to do. That's going to get you up on fuel. You're going to have at least 6 laps on paper. Will most likely probably be about 9, I think. You can go to lap 106. No, sorry, 116. And then you'll be really close on making it, but I think you should be fine after that. That's really, really stretching fuel. And that's if you don't lead. If you decide not to lead, I think you'll be able to make it even further.
Well, the front car, especially if you're leading either pack, right? Either line, inside, outside, those 2 drivers are going to be at the biggest disadvantage than the rest of the group. And we talk about this about every super speedway we go to, but they are going to be at the biggest disadvantage. I think to ultimately position yourself in a really good spot to win this race, or at least take less fuel, because time on pit road matters. I think the 78 and the cars that came back down pit road made the right call. Now, if I was, you know, Honeycutt, Smith, Wayne Scott, if I'm sitting in the top 3, 4 here, I want to come to pit road. We've been leading a lot of, you know, out front a lot of laps, etc., so on and so forth. Let's come to pit road. Let's top these cars off. Let's save some fuel, and then try to get to the end.
The pace car pulls in here now. Kinsley and the 31 of Honeycutt will lead them back to green as the green flag is back in the air. We are back underway here now.
Yeah, and I would say probably by design, Honeycutt kind of backed up probably a little bit to get in behind what I think is going to be his teammate in Kinsley Smith. And in fact, these 2 are going to have 2, 3, 4 car lengths over top of the 82 and Joshua Neal here.
Neal's going to hang in that bottom line. Nope, never mind. He's not going to hang in the bottom line. He's going to try to get to outside of the 31, but he's got no help at all. He's trying to hold close to that 31. He's not going to be able to do it. He wants to tuck back in right now. He can. Looks like he's going to be pretty hesitant, but he eventually gives way and tucks back in line. I don't know why he would have made that move without anybody helping him, but I mean, it was worth a shot, I think, to try it at least.
He just had such a big run with the draft, right? And Teft right behind him. He's going to see if maybe Teft could generate something with him. In fact, Teft decided to stay on the lower line. So getting back in line here where he's at, it's not going to necessarily be a bad call. Now, that outside line has 5 cars, 6 cars in it. It's currently being led by Norris and Bradley Carter right there. I believe that's Norris. And yeah, it is. So it's going to be led by Carter and Norris in the 62 and 7.
That 62 can do. He was involved in a wreck early on. He's been able to get that car fixed and had to use his fast repair early, so he's out of that. So I know he's going to be driving a little bit differently because of it.
And in fact, at one point in time was a lap down in this race, so since has been able to get back on the lead lap, and now up here in contention. Now you see Teft, Wayne Scott move out from behind the 82 of Joshua Neal, and in fact, Carter's going to help them guys. Big bump from the Carter car to Wayne Scott, and that's just going to launch them guys out front.
Teft will maintain that lead. He's going to be off on fuel. Well, the person I'm looking at right now is going to be Carter. Carter, lap 64. I want to see how long he can stretch us on fuel. Him riding like this will definitely help him a lot doing this. We got to keep that in mind.
Carter, Norris, able to pull up even with Teft and Wayne Scott. Now this helps Kinsley Smith, Brandon Honeycutt, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean, that 7's gonna go down right to the bottom. I don't know. I think that the guys that are lap 64, they can one-stop it. If they run it as long as possible, they can pit one last time and then they're done. But outside of that, I really don't know. It's kind of a, hey, let's guess at that point.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to hit somewhere around lap 100 to really see if we can get kind of an idea of what the fuel strategy is going to be, and we'll see that here in about 30, 31 laps. But I think all in all, I think you're right? The drivers that was down the pit road on lap, say, 64, 65 area, I think those guys might be able to one-stop it. Now, if we base our knowledge off of what these drivers did in the first green flag set of cycles that we had, that's going to be roughly 40, 45 laps. 44, I believe, is when they pitted. So for drivers that we knew hadn't. So let's just say max 44 laps. So, yeah, I would think those drivers would be able to one-stop it from that point, right? Because then right now they're going to be looking just past, say, lap 110 to come to pit road if they were on, say, 64, 65 area. So about lap 110 maybe. Then they might be able to one-stop it. So
probably,
I think you're right.
Probably around there. And I would also want to see if they try to slow down the pace. If they slow down the pace, then that will be something else to notice, because if they slow it down, then that'll also help their fuel. I don't know if they're going to do that, though, but they might do that.
I'm not 100% sure that they're going to do that, because right now Kinsley Smith, Brandon Honeycutt is definitely not wanting to ride in line. These guys want to be out front leading this race. Right now you got Teff, Carter, Norris, Wayne Scott all lined up on the inside. So Carter and Norris has actually been able to separate Teff and Wayne Scott, who's actually worked pretty well together tonight.
I think we'll see intensity pick up a little bit more, not a lot, but I think it is a possibility that will happen. I think really 130 is when it will happen most likely.
Yeah,
right word.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure if that's right. I was going to say most likely, but that sounds wrong to say that.
Well, the laps are slowly starting to dwindle here, right? And so these guys they're going to start running out of time in terms of positioning themselves to be in a really good spot to ultimately be the first one across the start-finish line. So, yeah, I think, again, one thing that you talked about too, Bryce, was how much time it takes to generate momentum, especially with the outside line. We've seen it throughout the night be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 laps even, upwards of around 10 laps before that outside line can really start to generate and make momentum. And so if it takes that long, you don't want to wait too late, right? You want to position yourself. Now, with that being said, the only cars that really benefit from that has been the first two cars leading the outside line. So when do you go and at what lap to make sure that you have enough time, and then you don't want to get cycled out? So, yeah, I would think lap, say, 130, 140-ish is going to put us in a really nice area for the intensity to really start ramping up within this race.
Everybody's moving to the bottom, though, so that kind of tells me they're either fuel saving or doing something else. They're just deciding to ride around, but we'll have to see what they want to do. I'm not completely sure. Let's just see. 6, 1, 101. 81. They've not slowed off the pace. They're running 46.6s right now, so they've still got pace.
Yeah, and it might be a strategy thing too, even, right? With Kinsley Smith, Brandon Honeycutt, It might be a strategy thing to go out there and go as hard and as fast as you possibly can to burn as much fuel, just to make sure that some of these other guys, burn fuel. Because if they do have to make one more stop and then have to short pit, that might be part of the strategy to try to force some of these other guys to have to do the same thing. And so there's multiple different strategies I think is going on right now with these drivers and their teams, and how this race is going to shake out over the next, say, 80 laps. But that very well could be a strategy part of the race that we've not even thought about, is, the idea of going out and really forcing these drivers to burn fuel.
56.8's that lap. What do you have for a top speed on Bradley Carter?
Let me take a look. 198.
This is going to be interesting.
198.
Let's see. I'm gonna save this and send it to you.
Okay. The fastest one I see right now is 202.
Yeah, this is I just sent it to you. Don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate.
447 miles an hour, the top speed for Bradley Carter. It just reset itself, so evidently it realized that was an error, because nobody's going 447 miles an hour on the track.
Yeah, it just reset and showed me 200. So, yeah, I don't think these guys are saving, right? I mean, I really don't. So, I mean, we're seeing some of the top speeds out of some of these guys out front. Kinsley Smith, 201. Bradley Carter, 200. Wayne Scott, right around the 200-mile-an-hour mark. So, I don't think these guys are saving. Again, this could be a part of the strategy to get these guys to burn some fuel. Looks like most of the field, though, has cycled out in single file, so could be some fuel saving middle of the pack.
Yeah, one thing, though, is I'm noticing that everybody's bottom, but the guys that, pitted and topped off are not leading, which is the smart thing to do. They're getting even longer fuel life out of their tank right now.
Right now that looks to be by the looks of Bradley Carter and who is Austin Norris. That's two of them. And currently, I show them. I hope your relative shows the same, but I show those two to be on pit road last at 64, 65. They're the current highest running positions. And right there, they're going to be able to save fuel, right? They'll be able to save fuel in that fourth, fifth position where they're riding. So maybe if we can catch an onboard of Carter or Norris and see if we, can hear if they're doing any saving, letting off.
Let's see here.
I'm sure they
are. He's not full throttle there. I can hear it there. I mean, he's definitely lifting. I just don't know how much he is lifting. I've always wondered. I think iRacing did an update. Unless it's a different cars, I think you actually see the driver's seating position. I know it would change before. Just have to see, though.
Yeah, and I think we got to go a little bit deeper in the field. Let's say, positions 14 on back, with the exception of maybe one car within that pack, has all been on pit road around lap 64, 65. So those guys in that position back there around where that area is going to be able to save a ton of fuel and really be able to put themselves in a position to probably one-stop this race. And again, I think Bryce, that's going to be around lap 110 area.
Yeah, and that should get them to the end. That should get them all the way to the end of the race. And I don't know if they're done wrecking. I'm hoping they are. If they aren't, then it'll be interesting to see like how that throws a wrench in everybody's plan.
Well, I think for it to have a major effect, it would have to be before, I would think, lap 110, 120 area, right? So it's a 160 lap race. We know for sure that these guys can go about 40, 44 laps. So I would think that if it was going to play any type of a factor in the way that the race is going to shape out from this point, I think we would need a caution before, say, lap 105, 100 area, because then that's going to be about 55 to go, and I think that they would be short if the caution was to come out then.
I don't know. We've got a lot of guys that have, yeah, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys have left 85 laps in, so the guys that didn't pit, they're probably coming close to their pit stop here sometime soon. I think.
So I show Smith, Honeycutt, Taft last on pit road at 58. I would think I'm going to do some mathing. I'm thinking they're going to be able to get to about lap 102 area. So I would suspect that somewhere between lap 100 and lap 105 for those guys, they'll be able to, the pit window will open for them. And then the drivers that were on pit road around lap 64, 65, I'm going to say between 105 and 110, depending upon how much they can save.
I'll just be way off.
We could be. Again, I'm basing that off of that 44, kind of that 40, 44 lap run that we seen earlier during the green flag cycle. So, yeah, we could be way wrong.
I wish there was a fuel calculator like that I had on this, but I don't know. Actually, the best that Nelson's multiple laps down. Never mind. I think he is. Is he? Let's see when the timing comes around. Yeah, I think he's a lap behind, 2 laps behind. So
it's a hurry and wait situation.
Yeah, so if you have to pit twice, I think what's going to happen is you're going to have the guys that, topped off, they're going to run it as long as they can, and then really, really short pit. And the guys that are going to be off on fuel are going to come down, run their tanks probably medium, and then have to pit way sooner than what they would like, most likely, to make it to the end just to keep up with the guys that ran it longer on that, because if they have to two-stop it.
Yeah, we can see the entire pack has went. I mean, they've went single file, right? I mean, there's nobody trying to generate anything, do much of anything right now. So, looking at the last lap times was about 46.9. Is that right? So they're about 0.8 off what they were running. So, in fact, Smith, Honeycutt, Taft, they're only running about 188, 190 mile an hour. So they could be trying to save some fuel right now. This whole pack could be saving fuel.
Yeah, let's see if they get hit down the back stretch. 190, 191, 92. They may be running half throttle here. I mean, they are really spaced out, is what I'm noticing also. They're not really up on each other's bumpers, so that means that they're not shoving. When they get close to them, they just completely lift out of it.
Yeah, so I mean, we can see tons of spacing in these cars. So the pace is slowed way down, right? I mean, we're about a second off the pace, not far from it. So pace is actually slowed down just a little bit. So right now, that tells me that every single one of these drivers within the front pack, say the top 20, has recognized it, and they're doing. Some of these guys are going to do what they can to just one stop it. I'm certain of that.
So within 20 laps, actually probably in 10 laps, it's when we may see some people come down pit road. May is the key word. We have gotten a little bit past halfway in this race.
So right now we're going to be what, less than 70 to go, or right around 70 laps to go. So
It's always hard guessing a fuel because you can never really know what that person's been doing. I know there was one race, we had the Gen 6 cars, it was Las Vegas, and I know I ran so long on a fuel. I actually ended up winning the race. I ran out going across the finish line, but I stretched it probably 8 to 10 laps longer than possible because I topped off and made it to the very end. So if you're gutsy and you've really been managing your fuel, you can go the whole way. It's going to be so hard to do it, though.
I can tell you, though, one guy that's not being able to save as much, or at least two guys that's not being able to save as much as anybody else, and that's going to be Kingsley Smith and Brandon Honeycutt. Now, I don't know how much fuel that Teff, Carter, and Norris has been able to save. I would think that they've been able to save a lot more than Smith and Honeycutt. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here in about 8 laps or so, 8 to 10 laps. I think, for me, I believe that's when the pit window is going to open for some of these guys that was last on pit road, say lap 58. So
I never understand how this works. I'm trying to look at the lap times. Not what I wanted. I wanted to see lap count 10 sectors. I don't want to see sectors. I want to see overall lap times. You can see that. I would want to see what they've been running consistently. They're running 47 high or 46 high now.
So that last time by, they was about 47 flat. This time they were about 3/10 quicker. So
the group back there, I don't think they're going to be a big factor. That 78 jumped out a little bit. I thought he was going to try something. That's Richard Ode. Made a little bit of a move to the outside there.
yeah, and he was one of the guys that came back down pit road and re-topped off, right? So this whole thing may play out for him as right now. Looking at the scoring, I show him to be in 14th. So this could work out to really, for any of these guys right here, to play out in their favor, just being able to save fuel. So again, to me, I don't think that we're going to really know how this is going to shake out until we reach, lap 100, 105, 110 area, right? Because then we'll have kind of an idea of where they are fuel-wise. Again, I think we're 40, 44 laps to a tank is what I'm guessing. But now they have been running 6, 7, 8 tenths slower than kind of the fastest laps at this point in the race. So we may be off by a few laps, but I think the next green flag pit stops is when we'll really know who's got what to go to the end.
Yeah, and the only thing that we can know for sure is the person that's way off on fuel is going to be Kinsley, because he's leading this pack. That is not going to be good for him at all. He will be struggling heavily because of this, and it's just not going to be fun for him.
Yeah, I don't really like the position he's in. I mean, him and Honeycutt both has wanted to be out front and pace this field, and they've done that for several laps now. And I'm with you, Bryce. I got to think that he's burnt a lot more fuel than anybody else out on the racetrack. I just don't. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we know he's a good super speedway racer. He won a week ago, I think, in a Gen 6 car here at Daytona. So we'll see how this plays out.
Kinsley, I wonder if Kinsley pulls other people with him. I don't think he will. I don't think he's going to have that much influence in the whole field. But
I think the ones that could go with him potentially, just by looking at the last time some of these guys was on pit road, is going to be Taft and probably Wayne Scott, right? Maybe Neil. I think, and Honeycutt. Obviously, I think Honeycutt goes when Kinsley goes. So I think if anyone goes when that is called out, I think it'll be Smith, Honeycutt, Taft, and maybe Wayne Scott. Maybe a couple other drivers go with them.
we're just going to have to watch. I mean, that's really the only thing that we can do. Hopefully we're not as far off as Fox's, NBC and Amazon Prime are. I think it will be pretty close, though.
I think it's going to be close. We see some guys really start to try to generate something on the outside. Now, this is going to be towards the latter part of the field, or the back part of the field. Looked like they had about 4 or 5 cars linked up back there together. So, looks like some of those guys may try to start to generate something. We'll just have to keep an eye on those guys. And just as quickly as it forms, it dissipates. Uh-oh, Bradley Carter on a wild ride there.
Oh my gosh, that car has destroyed the inside wall. I was looking up front. I'm glad you said something, because I would have not seen it. This is another. Was he the guy that had a wheel disconnect earlier? Oh my gosh.
No, that was the 08 that had the wheel disconnect earlier, but something massively went wrong right there for Bradley Carter.
That has to be a wheel, because you're not going to see that happen normally. Yeah, that's got to be a wheel. Luckily, I've never had a wheel disconnect. I have had my screen shut off, though, during a race. It was Chicago Street Course, but I ended up getting the new GPU, but I've had screen shut off. I've never had a wheel disconnect, but that looks like that's a wheel that disconnected, because he just immediately hooked it to the right. I mean, straight up, just whoop, over there to it.
Yeah, and he was our fourth place running car, and was sitting there looking pretty decent. So that's going to be horrible for him. I would think that's all probably going to ruin his chances to have a shot to win this race.
Yeah, that was.
So we're within what we think is now the pit window, right? We just completed lap 100, working lap 101. So now we'll know. We'll know within the next 5-10 laps what these guys got. We'll be able to kind of put an idea together. So Johnny Baker just entered pit lane.
Him and Nall both come down. I think they're Not really in the picture here, though. We got the we got the green lap 66. They've gone 40, no, a little bit less than 40. Oh, man, there goes the floodgate. So we're a little bit off, about way short. Holy crap, it's a whole field. That is basically the whole entire field. Now, Ode and Pendle stayed out. So I think they are going to have to short pit here because that's not going to get them to the end. I think we'll probably see them back down on lap 130, 140, somewhere around there.
So that tells us that they are for sure going to have to pit at least one more time because the last time those guys was on pit road was lap 58, and they pitted on 102. So 102, 44 laps exactly.
The Pendle's way on the bottom, trying to get all the way he can into pit road here. Looks like he'll get it slowed down. Ooh, that 78 was almost wrecking coming down. So they'll definitely short pit this next stop. They're not going to be able to make it. Just have to see what they do.
So 44 is going to put us near, say, 146 area, 147. So it'll definitely be a short pit the next time these guys enter pit road. We know they're going to have to hit pit road at least one more time. The only benefit to that is going to be if they get a caution. Again, that could shake up the whole strategy in itself.
Oh, hold on. Ode's got a black flag. I think he was getting, yeah, he came in way too hot on pit road. I had a feeling he didn't get slowed down this time. So this group will blow by them. They'll easily get back on the lead lap. I don't think they'll struggle at all to get around him. The 15, the 31 going up high. Get low and out of the way.
So that pretty much does take care of the green flag stops. I think most of everybody's now been on pit road, or at least the ones with inside the top 16, I believe, have all been on pit road. So
yeah, Ira's middle of nowhere, so he's gonna need a caution. Is that a girl or a guy?
it is a guy.
I was gonna say I can't tell. Ira sounds like a girl's name a little bit. I've never heard the name Ira.
He had a super long stop. I'm not sure why he was in his box as long as he was, but he was in there for quite some time.
Well, it's not. He wasn't long in his box. He was long on pit road. So, oh no, yeah, I was gonna say I was actually on camera. He slid through his box. That's why. He had to back it up because he only had a 14-second pit stop. That's actually one of the faster ones on pit road, but his total pit lane time was 53 seconds. It's always one thing that's kind of hard for some people. Is just like getting in your box. Like the brakes that they run at super speedways, if you don't change them, they're really long. They take forever to stop. So you got to crank the brake bias to the rear to get them to stop. And then once the tires are hot and they start to wear, they just do not, slow down at all. Braking distance goes away.
I have jacked that up many times in my iRacing career, sliding through pit boxes and whatnot.
I used to be really bad at it. Now I'm too easy getting in my box. I need to get my pedals fixed. I run Huskenfeld pedals, and I need to. The pedals are so finicky. Like you put too much preload on them, then they're too short. I actually don't have a brake pedal to begin, then I get one after it, so I need to get that fixed. But I got to get actual springs for it instead of these stupid rubber parts on it. It's 56.9s, 50. Okay, 56. 46 nines, not 56. Good lord, that'd be really bad.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see the need to save here, right? I mean, you know, you're going to have to make it. You're going to make one more stop at least for sure. So I 100% don't see the need in having to save. I think right now you just got to go and you got to execute on pit road at least one more time, right? You got to get on and off pit road. We've seen pit road be a dangerous place for some of these drivers tonight.
I just now the one thing these drivers are going to have to do is make sure you uncheck your tires. I don't think you want to be taking tires here at all. I'm pretty sure you just want to be getting in and out. Tires and go. That's all you have at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you're only going to need what, say. Yeah, if you want to take enough for a green-white checker, if you want to bank for that, maybe 15 laps of fuel. So, yeah, I don't think there's going to be enough time to take lefts or rights. I don't think you take any tires. I think it's just going to be a splash and go type of pit stop. So,
Cut, Taft, these other guys. Now, Kinsley's going to be in a weird position again because he's leading this pack, but it's going to be a stop and go, but he's going to be having to take more fuel than everybody else, and iRacing only lets you adjust it to a certain amount, so he kind of has to play it on the heavier side leading like this. He's going to have to get a little bit more fuel unless he decides to fall in line and just draft behind other people.
well, one thing that we talked about before that last green flag stop that we had was, you know, who we thought was going to go when Smith, Honeycutt, and those guys went. And in fact, it was the whole field. And so we thought maybe he was burning more fuel than everybody else, but it looked to be very coordinated amongst the group that, hey, we're going to go this time. Uh-oh.
We got Honeycutt around and backs it in. The inside wall, it's him. No, it's just him. I thought it was someone else. Carter was right above him. I had my passing turned off. I don't know if he got touched there. That looks like a really fast. If it's anything, I don't. He checked. Did he blow his motor? That's a really fast checkup. Yep. Oh, he did. It blew up. I can hear it. He blew his motor. Go on board here. Yep, it blew up behind him. I was going to say, that looked really, really weird. Because even though Tef got in him, I was like, he has space in front of him. It doesn't make any sense. So he blew his motor. And one thing with that, though, is he was not right behind the car in front of him. He gave it a lot of air. So I don't know. That was odd.
Was my thinking. Yeah, that's very odd because I mean it's not like that he was you know, they connected bumpers and he was shoving for the car to get too hot. I don't. That is very odd because I'm kind of dumbfounded right now by that, to be honest with you.
That's weird. I don't know how that. I mean, we can't see temperatures when we're driving or when we're spectating, so I don't know what it was up to. So he had to have gotten it really, really warm for it to blow up like that. That's the only thing I could think it could be.
It's going to be a heartbreaker. So with that, Smith has actually lost all of his track position, and now these guys are probably going to get pretty racy back here because Smith. So when the contact happened, it looked like the field started to check up, and he had such a lead that Taft Norris, that group, went ahead and just went on around. He actually fell to the end of that longest line right there. Now we see him on the outside, so I would think that he's going to try to get some guys to generate some some runs. He's been wanting to be in the front all night long. We can see Honeycutt starting to merge right there. Wayne Scott bounces out to the outside.
Right. No, not right now. They're getting close. So within 6 laps, they'll be in the span of, if they want to pit, they can pit and make it to the end. That'd be really short on that, but you can run it longer and then, of course, make your pit stop shorter. It's just, do you want to do that is the question. I know some people won't.
Well, I think the biggest problem with that would be you would want at least 5-6 cars to go with you, right? Because then you could generate some momentum if you decided to go when your pit window opens, right? I don't think 3 cars is the right move. You would want, I would think, at least 5-6. So I mean, the option's there, but I foresee these guys running it as long as they can, and everybody just short pitting it for probably about a 10-lap dash to the end. So. But I've always said you can't win the race doing what everybody else is doing. So kind of a scary moment right there for Smith and company.
We'll just see what they do here. It's always a guess, and what guys will decide to make move-wise here. See, the 92 looks like he's going to get a pretty good shot down the backstretch. Get a little bit of a bump. I don't know if that's I can't tell if that's a throwback paint scheme to somebody, because it's definitely got Bear Bond all around the car. That's not a normal paint scheme.
Which car are we looking at?
Yisprin's car. I think it's a throwback to... I don't think it's one Pablo Montoya. It's got like a Kyle Larson car, because it looks like it has Bear Bond on it. He always runs that paint scheme also. It may just be made like that. I'm not completely sure. I think the scheme just may be jacked up a little bit. You see up front now, they've gotten a little bit racy. Prince has gone to the lead. He's gotten a shove by Kinsley. See the 31 Honeycutt. He's laps down. He blew his motor earlier, just about 5 laps earlier. But towed it to pit road, and they put a new engine in it, so he's back out on the track. He was only 2 laps down, surprisingly.
Yeah, it's just like that, he has that issue to where, he's able to get down pit road, fix it, repair it, and just within a couple of laps has pushed what I think is his teammate in Kinsley Smith. They've worked together all night long, so I'm going to call them teammates at this point, but pushed him right back out to the front. So
goes Teth to the outside, trying to make a move. And get up behind Honeycutt. Looks like he will easily get a draft up there, and he'll duck down to the bottom. So Honeycutt will lead this pack. The 20 Crowell will try to come up on the outside. He's got the 82 of Neal coming with him.
Now, if a caution was to come out here, right now, if he's out in front of the lead pack, so he would technically only be a lap down, would he not?
Yeah, he'd only be a lap down, but I don't think you get the lucky dog. You have to go catch Ode, Baker, from Fennell, which they're all running in a pack, so I don't think they'll go another lap down.
I see that now. Yeah, he's actually about the 4th car down. I see. So yeah, that's not really going to be a benefit, but cautions breed cautions, right? So if he was able to catch a caution, and then we restack the field, then he put himself in a position to race with those guys that is currently a lap down. Nonetheless, Kinsley Smith and Yesprin's looking to, not Yesprin, sorry, that's the 20 of Crowell, looking to come to the front.
And now, one thing that could help though is Honeycutt, where he's leading this pack, and puts him only one lap down. Is we know that they're gonna have to come down pit road, so that would actually give him a wave around, I believe. And then if another quick caution happens, he should be good. And he pitted on lap 111, so it's not like he's gonna run out of fuel immediately.
Yeah, in fact, if he was last on pit road at lap 111, he would actually have some time to be able to get back on the lead lap.
Ugh.
So we know the pit window's open. We know that. And we know that we're probably going to see these guys hit pit road here and say probably, 15, 20-ish laps.
Yeah,
I think that's why we see some of the racing that we see with the three, the side by side, the outside line moving a little bit.
I would think that they'd be going down to the bottom, but evidently they know something that we don't. I just see what they want to do.
Right now, I mean, for me, this is just, positioning. It's positioning myself to be prepared for that next green flag stop. I know right now we can't make it to the end. So if I'm in the car, I'm racing for position, right? Because I want to be near that top, 3, 4, car pack, at least, to lead these guys on the pit road, lead them off pit road, and then hopefully no mistakes, and then ultimately try to position myself to win. So I think right now that's part of the reason that we see the 15, the 45, the 20 really working so hard is track position.
I don't know, like, I'd be working down to the bottom as soon as I can. You do not want to be that car that's stuck on the outside and cannot get down to the bottom. That, especially this late in the race, that will ruin your chances, as we only have 36 laps left. If you can't get to the bottom, then you're basically done from that point onwards. Actually, this group is about to run up on this lead lap, or this lap pack of Fennel and these other guys up here, so they're going to put them another lap down. Now, that could create some issues here also.
Yeah, once that lead pack catches that group, depending upon what that group decides to do, because a couple of those guys in that pack is still on the lead lap, I believe. So you have in that pack there, you've got Carter still on the lead lap, Kohlhoff still on the lead lap, and all still on the lead lap. There's several guys still on the lead lap within that group, so it's not going to want to go a lap down.
Still waiting for when they pit. I don't know. I don't know why they'd be going as long as they are. I feel like you should go right now. I think you could. Well, yeah, you can make it now, but I think that they're just trying to make it, as soon, or not soon, as short of a pit stop as possible is really what they want to do at this point, is make it minimal overall. So I think that's why they're trying to run it as long as they can. Now, you got to see how many people you drag with you too when you go down pit road also, because if you don't come with anybody else, and you're kind of you're in a bad spot.
Yeah, I agree. Right. I mean, the races from this point here, the race is who's going to be able to execute getting on and off pit road on that last stop. And whenever that last stop comes, you're going to have to be prepared, and I'm sure these drivers are. But it's going to be pit road execution. It's got to be. We hear them talk about it on Saturdays, Sundays. It's the money stop at this point. So you gotta do your job. You got to get on pit road, get off pit road, no mistakes. Don't get caught speeding.
It's just when do they make that choice? Feels like they've been going on forever at this moment. Kinsley Smith, France, Teff, Norris, Wayne Scott, Ecker, Pendle. So almost 30 laps left here. It's been a long race. Started at 6:45, now 8:42, so it's been 2 hours so far for these guys.
Yeah, we're nearing very close to the, say, 33 lap to go area. So again, you called it. You had made mention earlier, you know, with about 30 to go is when you think these guys would probably hit pit road. And so we'll see what these guys, maybe they've got the broadcast pulled up and they've heard us talk about fuel mileage all night long. Maybe we get a couple of takers, you know, with about 30 to go.
And they could be looking and realizing, hey, maybe we come down pit road now. What's the choice that you make? It's always the question for sure. Kinsley still leading that group. Kinsley's going to be having to take more fuel than everybody else, so I know he's probably trying to run it as long as possible for him. He does not want to be caught, you know, coming down pit road and being the odd one out. That's the last thing that he wants.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that he wanted to get back up there and lead that pack. After the 31 blew up, he was actually able to fall to the end of the longest line there that we had. And so I'm kind of surprised at the fact that he wants to lead the pack when he had a chance to save some fuel. So may know something we don't.
There's an outside line that's forming now around that lap car. See the 8, the 196 jumped up there. Wayne Scott's up there also. Teft is there. They might be trying to make a move here. Get up front, just position themselves up front at 31. Those not getting a good run off the corner. See if he gets one here. Teft is definitely trying to give him a pretty good shove as they come through the tri-oval.
Again, the only thing that I would think that the reason this line's trying to do anything, now we know Honeycutt's a lap down. The only reason I would think that Teff, Wayne Scott, and Ecker in the 94, the Pendle is all in this line is positioning. To me, this is a position battle. It's going to be one getting on off pit road and ultimately positioning yourself for this next green flag stop, provided we don't have a caution. So to me, this is a positioning type of situation right now and preparing for this next stop.
It's tough. See how hard he wants to fight on the outside. I want to see maybe if he can get Kinsley to burn a little bit more fuel driving like this.
It's just been strange to, it's just been strange to watch because it's like a couple of these guys can link up and they can make a big run to the front, but then a couple of these guys can link up and they can't go nowhere. It's been the wildest.
Yeah, I'm expecting them to just pit way sooner than this. I would not think that they would be running as long as they are. I mean, it's not like it's a horrible thing either, but I'd expect them to be coming down now.
Well, we know they're in the pit window. So now it's strategy, positioning. I just don't. I mean, that outside line just can't generate anything. Teff's not been able to get nothing going after he puts the 31 out in front of the 15.
Yeah, that 20's laying off pretty far too. He's not really, you know, like kind of up on him. He's got a pretty good amount of room between them. I think that's why he's kind of laying off as much as he is right now at the moment.
There's quite a bit of gap between Norris and Yesbrun right there. So you can see Wayne Scott. Now this is a duo that's worked well tonight, Teff and Ecker. Maybe they can link up and get something generated, but I'm seeing quite a bit of distance between Prince, Yesbrun, Norris.
I wonder, yeah, I wonder if these guys are going to run their fuel dry and just put the absolute minimum amount. This is really interesting what their fuel. They can go to 47, so they've got about 12 more laps, but I'd expect them to come down sooner than that. I wouldn't be comfortable just putting the minimum amount. I'd want like a gallon for the good, maybe. But I don't know. I honestly think that if you could get 3 cars with you, I think it'd be a good idea to come down pit road all at once.
Well, you want to get on pit road and off pit road before everybody else, right? Or at least attempt to. You know, the last couple of stops that we've seen, everybody's come together. The last green flag stop that we had at lap 102, this whole group came together, I believe. So,
yeah, it's just, I don't know. I really don't know what to do. I mean, I'm trying to guess. I'm going to be wrong, evidently. But I think they're not going to catch us back up here yet. They're running 46.8, so they're getting it. They're not saving any fuel at all. Though he's got that 31 in front of him, so it's actually kind of helping him on fuel. He's not going to be burning as much trying to lead this race. Got somebody that'll be pulling off of.
yeah, Teff and Ecker's looking really good on that outside line, though. Those 2 guys linked up earlier in the race and was able to make some ground up. So far, they've actually pulled up to about even with the 4th position. They'll actually lose a little bit of spacing here, but
and Teff and Ecker just ran their fastest lap of the race, 46.50 flat. Fastest lap, actually no, Ecker's fastest was a 46.45, so he ran near his fastest lap. Teff ran that up in that high line. Yes, some of these guys are running their fastest laps of the race this late in the run. It's kind of surprising to see, to be honest with you. I would have thought that they'd be struggling a little bit.
Well, 30 to go is when you said you thought the intensity would pick up. So that seems to be the case right now.
Teff's getting a little bit more aggressive with that side draft. He's not overly aggressive, but he definitely is getting down there a little bit closer to him. Probably trying to just pull him back as much as he can to get himself up there. It's always really hard to try to make that outside line work on your own. You really need a lot of help.
It's going to take a lot of side draft, a lot of help. They've got 4 cars in that line. If they side draft enough, they might be able to generate something. Again, we've seen one car blow up already tonight. He's probably going to want to be careful pushing on Teff too much.
Yeah, he's right up on him, that's for sure. He's even having that rear bumper move around. He's up on him so much. He's trying to poke out and get some fresh air, but he's definitely not leaving a lot of room at all. I think he's maybe backed off a little bit now. Teff and him will go to the bottom. Yeah, Ecker's now going to be able to get it. Yeah, he's backing up a lot now because I think he's realized that his car has gotten really, really hot. And it does not like that at all.
I think so. And also, too, I think we're going to see these guys on pit road here in the next couple laps. It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was going to say, it wouldn't surprise me if Teff, Ecker, Wayne Scott didn't go ahead and come with that move they made to get to the bottom. And, in fact, they are on pit road. So we got Teff, Ecker, Wayne Scott all on pit road right now.
This is a little bit later than what I expected to be. I thought they'd come a lot sooner than this. But we'll see when Kinsley and these guys come down. They might come down next time by. Not completely sure when they will, though.
Well, I think now's the time, right? You got those 3 cars on pit road. Now's the time. You got to hit pit road with at least this lap, or if not the next one, because you don't want to lose any time. Now, Honeycutt Smith, this group here, they have the advantage because they have more cars. In fact, they're coming to pit road.
Let's see if they can get in clean. Somebody's not coming in hot. I think they all made it. Wayne Scott, though, got a penalty. It looks like it's for too fast entering. He's going to have to serve that. That'll take his chances away. I think everybody else, they're clean in. Question is, will he be clean off? Pendle needs to come down still. Oh, and Prince got a black flag. It's got to be a too fast exit. That's the only thing it could be.
Yeah, because he was clean all the way up until that point, I believe. So we know at least Wayne Scott and Prince both with black flags. Now, we know this is the stop to the end, provided we don't get a caution.
Yeah, but yeah, they will not have to come down pit road again. I don't. Even if you took the smallest amount of fuel, I think you're going to be good on fuel on that from this point onwards.
You can see the very quick, fast approaching Teft, Ecker, Wayne Scott. We know he's going to have to bail out, serve a penalty on pit road. So does Prince. So in fact, Kinsley Smith will actually merge out in front of these guys. So looks like to me right now, Bryce, we're only going to have maybe at best a 4-car battle. The way this is shaking out to the finish here, unless there's a caution.
We had a little bit of off-track stuff here. Oh, they hit the apron coming off of pit road. That's Baker. It looks like the 21 did it also. No caution was it brought out there. They were off the racing surface, so they stayed green. So Kinsley will lead this. It'll be the really only 5 cars have a chance at winning it here, unless Norris. Yeah, Norris is all alone. He's not going to have a shot here at it. Wayne Scott still serving his black flag. The 30-second hold. Running up on some lap cars here, though. It's going to get really dicey.
Yeah, I believe the 82, the 81, and I believe the 57 Aaron Roth all was on the lead lap. So now we're going to have a battle within a battle, because now it's going to become, you know, being the first car one lap down, you know, if a caution comes out here. So at this point, you got to get up there and race.
There's
in the event the caution does fly.
Yeah, you can't be holding back now. You just got to go. Kind of interesting to see, you know, how these guys will race around each other now, knowing that. '94, '92.
Well, Honeycutt's a couple laps down. He's been working with the 15 all night. Now here's the 2098 hooked up on the outside together.
Teft is known to be a good shover, so I think you can trust him if he's behind you. I just don't know who else you can trust after that, because everybody's kind of, you know, for their own. They're gonna shut you out any chance they get. They're not gonna care about you.
Yeah, they're not. And actually, now they have a few more cars on that outside line, but still, yeah, the 15, 31, 78 able to manage. And now they've got the 45, 81 right there with them. So we're dead even. 5 cars and 5 cars.
Yeah, just evened out after a while. As Teft will look to the inside, he'll get to the inside of the 20 of Crowell. That'll put Teft to lead. Teft is already... Never mind, I was thinking about the Friday League. I was going to say Teft's already won. But Teft is the one that puts on these events. He does normally pretty good. Crowell's going to get a pretty good shove here, come down in front of Teft. It looks like he probably need to slam the door on him. However, that 20 may have came down at the wrong time. Maybe need to do that a little bit later than what he did.
We're say 13 to go, give or take, 14 to go right now. So now the race is on. Now these guys are going to start racing. And within this pack of cars that we're watching, we've got some guys that's going to be trying to battle, you know, to be the first car lap down in the event that a caution does come out. I venture to say we're probably going to see one. I think we're going to get a shove going wrong or something along those lines. We may stay green to the end here, but I would think we're going to see a caution.
I don't know. This is going to get interesting here for sure. 7 to 31. Got a little bit of switching going on up here. Even only 7 cars in the lead lap, and it may be a lot less here in a minute. 31, though, see Teft's going to move up. Oh, there we go!
There it is.
Trying to find the wreck. There it is. Caution will come out with 12 to go. Don't know who to put the blame on there. That's netcode. I can see it from here. Around Kinsley. Oh, that's not Kinsley. That's Austin. And, yep, that's netcode. Sends him around in front of the pack. The 8 looks like he's trying to slow down. Can't get slowed down in time. And it's just kind of on from there.
Yeah, it's pretty much the second time tonight that we've seen that. Now, here's the worst part about this whole thing, is if you were in that lead group right there, and you was a lap down, and involved in that wreck, they may not be a lucky dog, right? so that's worst case scenario. So we'll see who actually plays out to get the lucky dog here.
Yeah, even if you barely tap the wall slowing down, it says that you've been in a wreck. We'll just have to see. I wonder what they're And this will put everyone good on fuel. They won't have to worry about fuel from this point onwards.
Yeah, I don't suspect that we're going to see any of these guys on pit road. That's going to be good for fuel. Now the 7815, we know they was a part of that wreck. At least I know the 15 was. We know that. So I think that's just going to be a coming down. Let's put 4 tires on them, make sure we ain't got no damage, and if we do, let's pull the fender out on it type of situation. And
I think the 8. Nope, he used his fast repair. He saved it. I thought he had used it earlier. Was waiting to see with him, but he had somehow saved his fast repair for a while there.
I may have brought the commentator's curse to the pack there. I just had a feeling we were going to get a caution. I just, there's a lot of different things going on, a lot of different moving parts.
I mean, it did happen right after you said it, so.
We'll see how this shakes out, but we're going to restart with what, 10 to go? Or less than 10 to go?
We will be restarting with probably 8 to go, I think. And that's what we'll be. It'll be 8 to go.
So Teff, Crowell, Norris, Pendle, Yesprin, Ecker, Smith's going to be the top 7. Prince going to be 8th.
Nall and Wayne Scott, some of these other guys are down pit road, but that's not too much of a factor. Yeah, lights have gone off, so they'll get the green with 8 to go. We're coming to 8, sorry. Sorry, coming to 9. I don't know. I can't do this. English is hard, math is hard.
Ooh. Yeah, we will in fact be coming back to the green with 8 to go. Now we're going to have, I believe, 8 cars. That's going to be back. That's going to be on the lead lap. I'm not sure which one. At one point in time, we only had 7, right? So one of these guys, and I'm not sure which one it was, got themselves a lap back.
Maybe Prince, possibly? It's the only person I could think. It's got to be Prince. He's lined up on the back there. But it could be somebody else. I don't know.
So right now we're going to have about 8 cars. It's really we know we may not be done with cautions here, right? I mean we know how this style of racing goes. So any one of these guys that's currently a lap down, that's going to be pretty much from Pinnell down to, well, Carter down to, looks to be Null, I believe, all going to be a lap. I showed to be only 1 lap down. So if that's the case,
Carter will be hoping for a quick caution. I do know that. We're going to have a lot of guys hoping for a quick caution.
Yeah, I think so too. And then we know the leaders are going to stay out, right? So it's only going to come down to a lucky dog situation as the pace car is going to dip off, and we're going to get this race back under green flag.
Andrew Teff will lead them to green as the green flag is in the air. We are underway here. He does the smart thing and doesn't get too far out there. He doesn't leave a really big gap at all. The car behind him, the 7th, going to come with a pretty decent run, though. The guys behind him did not get a good start at all. Absolutely horrible one.
Now, how much blocking do you do, right? Do you try to, he's going to go up top with the 20. feels like that's probably where the run's going to generate. And in fact, it probably will. But, how much blocking do you do here? Right? I mean, that's...
Oh, there we go. We got somebody around and behind that will bring out another caution. 31, it's the 51, and the 6 are involved. I think that was a 51. What happened here? Just shot the middle and not clear. 6 has nowhere to go. And it was just kind of on from that point there. So I think this will bring them to, I think, 4 laps to go when they get the green.
Yeah, and what this does also, too, is going to allow the 37 of Alan Carter potentially to get back on the lead lap. So
I would want to know who gets the lucky dog here, too. That's one thing I'd be curious about.
I'm showing Carter to be the first one to lap down. Now, if he didn't take any damage or any contact during that caution right there, I would think that he's going to be the one, but
I don't know. Let's see. I don't think Carter got damage. Looks like he was in front of all of it. See, I think we'll see right here. If it waves him around, then we'll know he's good. You should be doing this relatively soon, though, on the wave around. Shouldn't be taking too long on it.
No, in fact, it's going to be the 57 it looks coming up through there.
If I had to guess, Carter was maybe slowing down and got tapped from behind, and that thought that he was involved in a wreck, which just sucks for him.
So that's going to allow Aaron Roth, I think, to be able to get back on the lead lap.
And that just sucks for him, too, because he's probably thinking, oh, man, I'm going to get the lucky dog, and then probably threw it and it just barely gets a little bit of a nudge.
So Teff, Norris, Crowell, Ecker, Pendle, Yesman, Smith, Prince. It's going to be the top 8.
Yeah, we'll get it with 4 left here. So how's the race been from your point of view? We kind of had that really, really long stretch where not a lot was happening. I mean, you were trying to guess on fuel.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of the race that we thought we were going to have, or at least I thought we were going to have, right? I mean, we knew, we kind of figured we were going to see some patience. I had kind of in my mind had, longer green flag runs and things like that. So it's kind of shaken out just exactly kind of how I thought that it would, being a full-length race and my first time calling one. I kind of, tried to visualize in my mind how this was going to play out. So it's been exactly how I thought that it would go. I didn't think fuel was going to be as big as issue as what it was, but it in fact was quite a big issue for us. So
yeah, I think that we'll see a lot of action here now, especially with 3 to go. You're going to be pushing a way harder than what you were before. So it's going to be interesting to see what these guys do.
Yeah, so now the pay window's open. Yep. I mean, you're absolutely correct, right? I mean, the pay window's open now. So now it's a matter of who, and you talked on it earlier, who can, lift those elbows up and really drive a car. And we'll see when these pushes and these bumps start to come, who's going to be able to do that will we see a third line generate? I don't think we will, but will we? That's also in the mind, because you're not gonna. To me, you're not gonna win this race from, you know, 6th, 7th on back, and unless there's a caution on the white flag lap and you make it through. So I think, you know, at this point you got to be elbows up, and it's going to be full bore, and it's going to be earned at this point, I think, Bryce.
Yeah, I don't think this is the last we've seen of Rex. This is when guys, they really push when they shouldn't, and you kind of have to. You have to push when you shouldn't, and just hope that he, you know, can take it. There's nothing really that can be done about that. If you can hold on to it, good. If you can't, well, then that sucks for you at that point, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, guys like Teft, Norris, Crowell, Ecker, you know, those front 4 cars, they've done a really good job throughout the race tonight to position themselves in a spot to win this race. So pace car is going to be off, and we're going to go back green.
As green flag is back in the air, we are back underway here. Test gotten pretty far out. Might need to kind of back up a little bit, manage both lanes. He's going to see a run coming from the 7. He's going to stay with him. He could have cut down in front of the 20, but decided not to. He wanted to stay with that Ford, it looks like, possibly for him, that flat front end. But that's going to have him lose a lot of positions. Christopher Pendle come with the run down the back stretch. They'll get to the bumper.
We've seen Tef do that on the last restart too. Go up towards that second lane. So he must know something we don't, because that's the second time he's went up there. Now you see the 94 of Pendle looking on the outside of Smith.
Pendle, he's been really quiet the whole entire race. I think he was actually involved in a wreck at one point. He's been able to get it, you know, back going, and, you know, worked his way back up here.
And you can see these cars are really starting to move around. That tells me that these bumps and these runs are getting a lot more violent. I'm watching Teft and Pendle right now just all over each other through the corners, doing everything they can. In fact, they've lost some track position.
They're going to be coming to 2 to go. So when's this other lane going to form? Who's going to hop out of line? Because somebody's going to be hopping out of line and making a really, really bold move.
I think right now the outside line has just lost so much track position and so much momentum. I think they really did. Uh-oh, there's a wreck.
It's like in the back of the pack here, that's the 6, just went through the 82. That was Barker. It's kind of a weird wreck. That's not the right wreck. Where is it? Oh, that's the wrong one again. Is it? No, that's the right one. Trying to figure out, this is all just splayed out through this timing here. That was a little further back. 6, you got somebody outside, bud. Don't know what that was. That was weird. Oh, 37 got up into him. He hit the 57. 45 was there. The 82 went through the 6. I don't know how he did that. That's very, very lucky for him. Well, besides whoever that was, all the way up there has got some pretty bad damage. That'll put us to a green-white-checkered attempt, though.
Will bring us to a green-white-checkered attempt. And so we're going to have Crowell, Smith lined up on the front row. We know Smith, he spent quite a bit of time up front. Then we're going to have Pendle and Teft. Teft was in fact, I mean, he was kind of one of the biggest losers during that restart. Went up to that outside line, wasn't able to generate anything at all. I think he'll actually line up on the inside or outside of, I believe, Smith. So
got 2 meatball flags, 1 black flag. So these guys will not be able to continue unless they pop a fast repair, which I think 2 of them don't have one. Then Barker's he'll serve his black flag. I think he has to serve his under green. While these guys wait to go back racing, we will go on and mute here. As they come out of 4 here, this will be a green-white-checkered attempt here. Pace car pulls off. Crowell and Smith up front as the green flag is in the air. We are back underway.
Yeah, and I can tell you, Crowell and Pendle both got a really, really good start. Smith is going to clear to the bottom off the bumper of Norris. I think the goal here now is if you're the leaders, right, you want to see the white flag.
Yeah, just white flag is all that they care about now at the moment. Yisprin's going to be put 3 wide here. Smith off the bumper of Norris. Crowell getting a shove from Pendle. Pendle trying to stay up on that rear bumper as much as he can.
Right now, they'll exit turn 4, and they will head to the tri-oval to see the white flag, which means that there'll not be another attempt, and so this is going to be the finish. Cab coming through the middle.
Oh, oh my gosh. Welcome to Talladega 2012. That's a huge wreck in the back. They're still wrecking. Can Pendle go and catch him now? He's got to hope that he gets to Yisprin, but Pendle has some heavy front end damage on that car. That was a massive wreck. Here comes Pendle here. 20's going to put himself in the wall. Who is going to... Oh my gosh, the 92 is going to win this race. Timothy may come home with the win here if they're not able to mount a run in time on him. And it will be Timothy Yisprin who will take home the win in a wreck-filled last lap. What in the world just happened?
I don't have no idea.
Well, that was interesting.
I don't have no idea. That was wild. I got Yisprin, Pendle, Crowell, 1, 2, 3.
That was a huge wreck at the start, and then they wrecked again right after that. I'll watch him do his burnout.
Yeah, I'm just at a loss for words for what we just witnessed right there. That was quite an interesting finish.
Yeah, that was weird. That was really, really weird. He'll pull it to a stop there, so I'll pull up the race results. We'll bring in the third place driver and Corey here in a minute. I can find him.
Let's see.
I think he's in a room. I'll ask him. No, he is. Let me ask if he wants to interview. Corey at... Let me ask him, see if they want one. That was a interesting finish, though.
That was definitely an interesting finish. And I tell you what, it coming through the line there, you thought those drivers were going to be able to keep it straight, keep them forward, race their way back to the line after taking the white flag. We seen Teft in the 98 kind of shoot the gap. And then when they started making the exit of turn 2, all calamity broke out. And then again at the entrance of 3. And ultimately, Jesper was able to clear every single one of them. Was the victor.
We'll bring Corey in first. Hey, Corey, this is Bryson Brandon in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, what's going on?
Man, so just fall a little bit short there at the end, but how hectic was that last lap? Because that was a huge wreck going into 1 and 2, and then another wreck happened again.
Yeah, I seen Kensley get hooked, and he come across my nose, and at that point, white flag's already thrown. It's just there was no break. It was just all in. Richard gave me a bump through it, and then I kind of got pushed out there. I seen Richard behind me, and he was a lap down, but it didn't register at first. And then when I seen him coming high, I didn't know who was behind him, so I went up to block. I didn't go too as quick as I wanted to because I was thinking he was going to drop back down. So that was kind of like it was like a fake to go high and then go back low, but he just stayed high, and I just went up there and destroyed him, which then destroyed the 94 as well. So it sucks for the both of them. I wish it would have went green all the way through. That would have been a sweet finish, but overall it was pretty good day.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of one of the things where you're like, well, crap, that's just how it folded out. But, how was the race for you overall, though? Because you qualified 15th, and you seemed like you were running up front pretty good portion later towards the race.
Yeah, I ran a 200 lapper, I don't know, right before this one started. So I finished that, and then I came over here and ran this one. So I felt like my lap time would have been better, but as soon as I hit the back stretch, I don't know if I was sitting on my brake pedal too much, but I was losing speed. So I started mid pack, which was not ideal. I didn't want to start there, but it is what it is. This group of racers, I mean, they're always pretty clean, so I knew it would be all right. But yeah, we made it through.
Yeah, that was hectic there towards the end. But how was that fuel there at lap 100? Because we were trying to guess the fuel strategy that y'all were going to go with later on in the race.
Yeah, I don't know. I was telling my teammate, if we could stretch out 5 on this run and then 5 on the next one, we can do it in one stop. But I was involved in an incident before that, so I pit and he didn't. So there was no way he was able to. So our strategy was kind of messed up on that. So we were just kind of riding around in that backpack. And then he kind of got this weird bubble where he was the back car of that pack, and he just lost the draft. Once they went too wide, it kind of sucked that one car in front of me up. So he lost it. So then from there on out, it was just kind of like who I want to go with. So I just kind of had to choose who I thought was going to be the better ones to go with. I mean, it played out, just not ideal.
All right, man. Well, before I let you go, is there anybody you want to thank? Any sponsors you want to shout out that may have been watching the stream here tonight?
Yeah, shout out you guys for the broadcast, Andrew and everybody involved with Racers Elite for putting on these races. It's pretty neat. It's fun. Gives something for somebody to work for. Mars, all of my teammates over there, and just anybody watching. We appreciate your guys' support.
All right, man. Well, I will let you go. Good job coming home third tonight, man.
All right, thanks.
Corey, the third place driver. We will bring in the second place driver and Christopher Pendle. Hey, Christopher, this is Bryson Brandon in the booth. Got a copy, man?
Yeah, man. What's up?
And so you come home second after whatever that finish was. How did the race go for you overall, though?
Well, it was all right. I was just trying to be patient, save a little fuel when I could, and just kind of learn. I tried to stay out of the trouble, do everything I could. I rode in the back for a little bit, then like 20 laps into the race, 25 laps into the race, I had a black screen come on my computer and or my TV, and I had to pull left and turn that off real quick, and I got a lap down, and we started getting cautions, and I was able to get my lap back with lucky dogs and stuff, and got back up to the front there. was doing real good, you know, and then I missed pit road like a lot of got that last green flag stop there. I missed going into pit road with everybody, so I pitted alone, and then it kind of screwed me. But then the caution came out again. I somehow got um, back up to third there with all those cautions, and I almost had a shot at the win there. My teammate Odie, the 78, he was a couple laps down. He was doing his best to push me, and then I got in that wreck off too, but I was able to still stay second behind Corey, and Odie was I was using Odie as a draft, and he tried to make a move on the outside of the 20 because he was faster, and then it's just the 20 blocked and wrecked me in the 78, and the 92 was able to capitalize. Congrats on him. He was excited about it in the waiting booth with me, and you know, second place always stings. It sucks. It just, especially with what's going on, and man, I'll take a second, I guess. It just stings.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely hectic there towards the end, but you know, what's the chains of emotions just that whole last lap? Because it's like, oh my god, I have a chance. Then it's like, oh, now I don't have a chance.
It was just frustrating. I mean, I was last lap. I was there. I was just staying on the back of that 20, and then that caution or that wreck came out, and I was doing everything I could to just stay there. And then, like I said, when that wreck hit and I tried to split it, I got a little bit of front end damage, and I thought maybe with Odie in front of me, and I was able to catch him, and I thought maybe if we made a move, we was going to win. And he tried to make a move for me. Just like I said, the 20 was slow, and then when a 20 blocked him, and I don't know if he knew he was a lap down or not, but 20 blocked him and wrecked him and wrecked him into me, and then the 92 was able to get to the bottom. It's just, once I seen the 92 pass me, I was a little dejected. Like I said, congrats to him. He got his first win, and it's just, like I said, with all the money it was on the line tonight, everybody was going to push hard, and it's just sucking. It just sucks that I came up one spot short. It is what it is, and we'll go on to next week and next race, and hopefully we'll get one spot better.
All right, man. Well, before I let you go, is there anybody you want to thank? Any sponsors you want to shout out that may have been watching the stream here tonight?
Yeah, just thanks to everybody that races, and thanks to Andrew for putting on these events. I mean, he puts a lot of time and effort into doing this, so we appreciate it. And thanks to you guys for broadcasting. You could be doing something else, but you spend your time broadcasting, watching us, and I'm sure we all appreciate that. And thanks to my buddy TJ Lane for making me a new scheme to run tonight. This is my first time I've had this scheme out, and it I guess it has a little bit of good luck. And thanks to Deep Race, thank you all for watching, and it's time to go get ready for bed and get ready for work in the morning.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you go. Good job coming home second tonight, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good one.
As a second place driver, we will bring in the race winner in Timothy. Hey, Timothy, this is Bryson Brandon in the booth. Got a copy, man?
Yes.
So I don't even know what that finish was. What are your emotions, though, knowing that you come home with the win after whatever that was?
I would rather be lucky than good. And I was very lucky.
Yeah, so
I mean, look at the wreck over in turn 1 and 2. I had a lot of really good guys in front of me. I'm only a B class, and everybody else is A. I felt like I was an underdog, but I tried to follow Andrew as the one that I needed to stay behind. But he got caught up in that wreck in turn 1 too.
so like, what's going through your head that last lap, seeing that happen in front of you, and then seeing another wreck happen in front of you, and being able to squeak through with the win?
Well, I mean, I see that we still, hauling tail down the back straightaway, and 3 cars ahead of me, and that this is but whenever they start wrecking up there in turn 3 and 4, I just had to yank it down low and just tried to keep my momentum, and I can't believe it. I made it.
Yeah, and that was interesting to see. I didn't even know what to say. We didn't know what to say. I was like, they're wrecking, and then they're wrecking again. But how did the race go for you overall, though? Because you qualified 26, so you had to come from the back to the front.
Yes, and one of the wrecks I did get into, I pitted. It was too much damage, to be able to save my fast repair, so I had to make another lap around and use my fast repair. And I thought I was pretty well done for if I got one more wreck, so I had to be very careful.
Yeah. Well, before I let you go, is there anybody you want to thank, any sponsors you want to shout out that may have been watching the stream here tonight?
Well, I'm in the clan with Terry Fingell and you know, quite a few of these other guys, Barry Nelson, and how you say my last name is Eisburn.
Yeah, I am so off on that.
Don't worry, everybody butchers it, so it's all good.
So Eisburn,
Yes,
I'm gonna add that on.
like your eyes are burning.
All right, man.
I'm fixing to go have me a good drink and celebrate.
All right, man. Well, I will let you go. Good job coming home with the win tonight, man.
Thank you.
That was Timothy Eisburn, the race winner. That was interesting there. You know, Brandon, how was the race from your point of view, though? Because it seemed like it was pretty good, especially there towards the end. That's when it got really hectic.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for my first time calling one of these full-length races, it was everything that I expected it to be, and then some. Really, I mean, we seen some great racing throughout, a lot of different strategies throughout, and then just what a wild finish. You know, we knew once those drivers took the white flag that you know the race was you know it was going to be ended there. So it was a matter of, you know, trying to make sure that you got back to the start finish line and be the first one to do it. And Osborne was the one to be able to do it. So congrats to him. And you know, I hope we get to do more of these, but it was an absolutely amazing night.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. That wreck reminded me of 2012 Talladega, but that was not a bad race. Was definitely long, but I will not keep y'all here any longer. I will let you all go.